All right, welcome back to the third update of Horse Programming's Learning to Code. Today I will show you two programs that I made this week. First I'll just show them to you and what they do, and then for anyone interested I will go through the code and show you how I made these programs, and you can try for yourself or give me some input on what to do better. So this is the first one. This one is called Drawbox. Drawing some boxes. And alright, this is the next one. Let's call it the textifier. It works like this. So we input some text and we get it written in, we write some numbers and get them written as text instead. Okay, let's take a look at the Drawbox game and how I made this one. So this little program writes a number of boxes, how many you want, and writes them out in random places, in random sizes on your console window. And so I did this one with a function called Drawbox. And this function takes 4 parameters, 4 different ints, one called width, one called height, one called left, and one called top. So what it does is it loops through the height value to basically tell you how large the box will be, and it sets the set cursor position of the console to whatever the left and top value is. And how it works is the left value always will be the same. So this is like an x-axis on your console screen, but with every time this loops, it does console write a different set of characters, and it will write out the box one line at a time. So one row of the box is one of this loop, and the next time it loops you have to go down one step in the y-axis, and how this works is like the higher this number the top variable is, the lower down in the console it goes. So you have to make this one larger every iteration of the loop. And so here you can see if the height is 0 or the largest number of the height that the box will have, we will write only these hash characters, because this will act as the wall of the box. And the same if we are on the edges of the width, we will write hashes, and otherwise we will write these lines, so, which will be the middle of the boxes. And that's basically it. That's the function that we use every time to draw a box. So with the random class, maybe? No, I don't know, what is this? Yes, it's a class. Good to know. So, as I said, we take 4 parameters into this function. And so, basically, each of this number, every time you loop this loop, which is every box that you write out on the console screen, it will take a random number telling you the width, the height, the left position and the top position. And it also says when it has drawn a box, it will take a little pause for 500 milliseconds, I think. Yes. So not every box is written at the same time. Thread sleep was a new thing that I learned, and you can do some stuff with that. More on that later. So for example, if you want to do only 3 boxes, you can write like this, and then it finishes. Or I don't know, 20 boxes. Yeah, you get it. And here is a breakdown of the integer to text program, which is a little bit more complicated. So how I did this is take an input from the user. Our exercise, we needed to make a U-short number, which I think is maximum 5 digits. And so I take input from the user and parse it to a U-short, which I save. How I did it, I took this number and made it into a string instead, because we were working a lot with strings this week, and I learned that you can use them as array of characters, so this was the mindset I was in. And I also made an empty string called number as words, which will save all the written numbers in a string. So before all this, I made 2 different functions to tell to get the correct outputs, like converting the number characters, or in this, the characters into text instead. So one called 1 to 9 and one called 10 to 90. So both of these functions takes 2 different parameters, basically checking what I called it the tens and the ones. So I don't like for the number 11, I would call the number 1 representing the 10 a 10, and the number 1 representing a 1 a 1. I think you get it. So the thing with this program is that it has to have a lot of conditions. It will need to do different stuff depending on a few reasons. For example, let's start with the 10 to 90 function. So if we're writing a 2-digit number, I will use this 10 to 90 function, because this number will be somewhere between 1 to 90, and so we will need to be able to write 10 to 90, or nothing if it's the number 10 is equal to 0. We don't need to write anything here. But if we got 1 in the tens, we will have to return either, then we have to check the ones. If we have a 0 and a 1 first and a 0 later, this will need to become a 10. Otherwise 10 to 19 basically. But if we got a number from 2 to 9, we will need to make it return 20 to 90. So this one needs to have check of both the ones and the tens. On 1 to 9, on the other hand, it also has to be able to tell what the number before it is. Because if tens are 1, then the 10 to 90 function will return either 10 to 19. So then we don't need to write anything on this one. But if the tens, no, let's see, if the ones are 0 and there is no number 10, we will need to return 0, or else return nothing. Also, if tens are 0 and ones are 0, we need to return nothing. I think I gotten this right. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't try all the possibilities. Otherwise, we'll return 1 to 9. So these are the two functions I made. But then this program needs to do different stuff depending on how long a number it is. If we got a 5-digit number, we will need to check the first and second number of the first and second digit of the number, because this number can be will be the way I written this program, at least it will always be on number 1 or higher on the first digit, because else it's just a stupid input, I think. This is how I made it. So it will check the two first digits and tell you if it's 10,000 or 65,000. And then it doesn't need to check the second number, because we already got this from this line of code. But the third number will tell you if it's 100 to 900, or if it's a 0, we don't need to put in anything over there. And the fourth number will do this for the fourth and fifth digits. So I basically made different conditions for every type of length of the number that you input. So let's see. You gotta do it like this, of course. So if we input 0, we get 0. If we input 10, we get 10. If we input 19, we get 19. 100. So here you don't need to write out the last digits, because it isn't needed. 111. 1000. Yeah, and so on. This is the way I made it. Since I made it, I have learned a couple of new tricks that would be good to make this one a little bit better, I think. But other exercises and things to do needs to come first in this case. Alright, whoever watched the whole video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Hope you enjoy this little tour.